Is it visible?
Sir, it is visible. Kindly make it in slideshow mode, sir.
Is it okay?
Yeah, okay, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, friends. I will be speaking on pests of millets and their management. So as you see, most of the earlier speakers must have dealt, millets are a special group of crops. They are very efficient. They have C4 anatomy in them, making them more highly photosynthetic efficient. They are capable of coping up with better adverse climatic conditions. They are able to come up with less water, and from food and nutritional point of view, they are beneficial. So if you see the area in production, the maximum area is around 38 million hectares with a production of 28. The major one is sorghum, followed by bajra. So the reasons for low productivity, first one is terminal drought. Whenever the crop comes to flowering stage, it encounters drought. So that is one of the major factors. And very few hybrids and varieties are there in small millets. Yes, we do have in sorghum and pearl millet, but in other millets, the varieties are less. And sowing time is decided upon the monsoon. So timing is also improper. And this is susceptible to some of the pests. And lot of work has to be done in terms of crop geometry. And mostly it is cultivated in marginal soils. And there is limited area under high yielding varieties. So these are some of the factors which are affecting its production and productivity. If you see the crop losses, so taking into consideration sorghum as the main millet, shoot fly is one of the major pests. It attacks all the millets, starting from sorghum, bajra, and all the minor millets like little millet, proso millet. Mostly the damage is caused due to seedling loss. So once the seedling loss is there, you will not be able to maintain the plant population in the field. That is one of the reasons. Up to 90% crop damage has been observed, and due to that 70% fodder loss is also there. Coming to stem borer, there are a lot of stem borers, almost at least 3 species of stem borers are there, which attack the millets. The major one being Chylopatla, spotted stem borer. So it attacks the crop at all the stages, unlike shoot fly, which attacks at the early stage in case of sorghum. But in other millets, shoot fly attacks even at the panicle stage also. So stem borer causes a loss up to 60 to 70%. Mainly the panicle filling is improper and there is loss in the quality of fodder. Other pests are sucking pests. The sucking pests suck the sap from the plant panicles and they make the fodder impalatable for the cattle. So shoot bug and aphids are the major sucking pests. So if you see the list of the pests, more than 150 pests are...
My classmate in agronomy, sir. So she is working in the pearl millet.
Anuradha, can you mute?
She is working there.
So if you see the list of pests, more than 150 pests are there. So the major ones are shoot flies, stem borers. So we'll be just dealing. So among the millets, there are 8 to 9 millets. Out of that, around 6 species of shoot flies are found to attack. So I have listed the major ones. The major one is Athyrogona soccata, which attacks per sorghum. And pearl millet is attacked by Approximata. Proso and Kodo millet is attacked by Athyrogona simplex. Similarly, other 3 species are there, Atripalpis, Falcata, and Pulla, attacking the other millets. So in case of sorghum, the damage by Athyrogona soccata and other shoot flies are only up to 30 days of the age of the crop. So if you are able to manage the crop for the first 4 to 5 weeks, you are through. But in case of small millets, that is proso millet, barnyard millet, little millet, proso millet, here the damage is there at the early stage as well as at the panicle stage also. So the crop is attacked at the vegetative stage as well as at the reproductive stage. So this is very important pest from the point of view of small millets. So the next pests are stem borers. As I told, there are 3 species. The first one is spotted stem borer, Chylopatylus. So it attacks sorghum, pearl millet, finger millet. Incidentally, it is a pest of sugarcane also. In case of pink borer, that is sesamia, this attacks sorghum, maize, rice, finger millet, pearl millet, and other grasses too. And you have another white stem borer, which is restricted to finger millet in southern India. So these are the major stem borers. Apart from that, there are many general pests which attack and damage the foliage. So due to loss of foliage, there is loss in the fodder as well as in the crop growth is also affected. So these are the occasional pests, red hairy caterpillar, black heady caterpillar. Their attack is not regular. Whereas shoot fly stem borer attack is regular. You can expect the attack every year in the same season. Whereas red hairy caterpillar, black heady, they are occasional pests. They attack once a while. Whenever the attack is there, the damage is severe. Severe defoliation will be there. They are sporadic and occasional. They are to certain pockets only they are localized. Similarly, cutworms are also there. There are as well as 3 species of cutworm: Mithmina, Spodoptera litura, Spodoptera frugiperda. The last one, Spodoptera frugiperda, this is one of the major pests to be watched. These are all polyphagous in nature. They attack all the millets. And Spodoptera frugiperda made entry into our country on maize in the year 2018. So you will be seeing that in consecutive slides. Apart from that, some general pests are like the grasshoppers. There are almost 3 to 4 species of grasshopper. They attack the millets and they cause defoliation. Incidentally, some pests like ash weevil, which are the pests of bendy and even cotton, are found to attack millets. They make the notches in the margins of the leaf. So these are occasional pests. Apart from that, some of the pests like Nepharocrosis medinalis, that is the paddy leaf folder, it has been found to be attacking pearl millet, finger millet, and other species of grasses. Then you have finger mill flea beetle, Chaetonema pusaensis, attacking finger millet. So sucking pests are one of the major pests. They attack the crop, they suck the sap. Apart from that, damaging the crop, affecting its quality. They are also vectors of some of the viruses. The major one is shoot bug. This is Peregrinus maedis. This is a pest in case of maize also, and it attacks all the millets. So next one is Pyrilla. This is a sugarcane pest. And you have almost 1, 2, 3, 4 species of aphids attacking different millets. So sorghum is attacked by Melanophis sakari, that is yellow aphid, and green aphid. Whereas ragi is attacked by plum aphid, Hysteroneura ceteriae, and also this ragi root aphid is also there. This aphid cuts the root and it is mainly confined to light and sandy soils. Apart from that, in severe cases, when the temperatures are high, you can expect mites, red spider mites also. So though the list is very exhaustive, you will be seeing the major ones in the subsequent slide. So coming to panicle pests, so after the formation of panicle, as the formation of the panicle starts, as the flower opening starts there, so the sorghum midge attack will be there. In case of sorghum and also in case of pearl millet, Jeromia is there. So these are small mosquito-like creatures. They attack the seed. Eggs are laid on each developing flower. From that, the larvae emerge. They feed on the ovule, and finally abortion of the ovule will take place. Due to that, improper filling of the grain is there. After the grain formation, you have some of the caterpillars like Cryptoblabbus, Helicoverpa, Eublema, and these are the hairy caterpillar Euproctus, which attack and simply feed the grain forming at the milky stage. So these are very severe. They are not regular, but whenever their attack is there, some of you must have read in the newspaper that last week there was severe attack of Helicoverpa armigera in pearl millet in Rajasthan, that Mahendragarh area and Haryana bordering area. So whenever their attack is there, it will be severe, but the attack is not regular. So key is that you should monitor the crop properly. Apart from that, another important pest is earhead bug. The nymphs of this hemipteran, they suck the sap from the seedlings, the seeds. So due to that, the grain filling is very improper, and these pests are occasional. Apart from that, in sandy soils of Rajasthan and all, you can find the attack of termites, white grubs, As many as 3 species of termites are seen on pearl millet. These are mostly confined to sandy soils, and white grub attack is also confined to sandy soils, especially in Rajasthan area. Apart from that, some of the pests are there, the avian pests. They also attack the crop at the grain formation stage, as well as at the time of sowing, causing severe damage. So you need to manage them. And pigs are also causing damage, which are in the vicinity of forests and suburban areas. So coming to shoot fly, as I told, it is a major pest. It causes up to 90% seedling damage. You can see that the cigar-shaped eggs are laid under surface of the leaf, from which the larvae emerge. They enter into the growing tip of the meristematic and cut the meristematic tissue. Once the meristematic tissue is cut, you can find the central portion drying. This is called as dead heart. So whenever dead heart formation is there, either the plant will die or it will regenerate and bring out tillers. So once tillering is there, the crop will not be uniform, and it also acts as a reservoir for the subsequent shoot fly generations. So as many as 8 to 9 generations of shoot fly are found in millets. You can see this is a severely devastated crop of sorghum. In sorghum, the attack is confined to first 30 days, whereas in case of bajra and minor millets like little millet and proso millet, even the panicles are attacked. See, this is the panicle attacked by shoot fly. Similarly, the other pests are stem borer. This is a serious pest which causes loss of fodder, as well as grain formation is also affected. So infestation ranges from 50 to 60% under field condition. So the stem borer is a straw-colored moth, and it is having a spot on its wing, hence the name spotted stem borer. So this also lays eggs on the undersurface of the leaf. The larvae emerge from the eggs, and they simply defoliate the leaves. So once the leaves are defoliated by the larva, so the papery colored structures will be there on the leaf. And finally, the larva enters into the plant and it cuts into the meristem tissue and it causes dead heart. So the difference between shoot fly dead heart and stem borer dead heart is stem borer dead heart you can find after 25 to 30 days. And whenever you pull out, it comes into your hand, and that much rotting smell will not be there in case of stem borer. Whereas in shoot fly, because it feeds on the rotting tissue, offensive odor will be there. So stem borer, it attacks the crop at all the stages, at seedling stages, as well as at the vegetative stage. So these dead hearts are formed at the seedling stages. And once the caterpillar grows, it grows in 6 instars and it feeds into the stem. You can see that it causes extensive tunneling. Due to the tunneling, the plant snaps off and there will be improper grain filling. And sometimes due to heavy winds, the plant breaks off. The second borer is Sesamia influenza. This is a major pest in case of wheat, paddy, maize, ragi, and sorghum also. So unlike other pests, the eggs of the Sesamia inferens are not laid on the leaf. It is laid on under the leaf sheath, under stem sheath. So if you peel off the stem sheath, you can find this round eggs. Almost a female lays around 300 to 400 eggs, from which the larvae emerge, and they complete their life cycle in 6 stages. You can see the larvae in gregarious, they are in groups. So this is a buff-colored adult of Sesamia. So Sesamia, when it attacks ragi, it will cause dead heart at vegetative stage, and in case of reproductive stage, due to the improper grain filling, the panicles will not be filled, and it is called as white earhead. So this damage is mostly found in case of ragi, barnyard millet, and other small millets. This is white stem borer. This is mostly found in southern India, in ragi. This is not so important. I was telling about red eye caterpillar. The moths are medium sized. They get attracted to the light trap. So they lay eggs on even on stones, soil also they lay eggs. And whenever their attacks are there, a single female can lay up to 1,000 eggs. The caterpillars, grown-up caterpillars, they move in March, they march. So whenever their attack is there, you will not find even a single blade of leaf. So this is very devastating and it is found in certain pockets, occasional only. So whenever its attack is there, severe defoliation will be there. Similarly, black hairy caterpillar also. This attacks the leaf as well as panicles also. The panicles at milky stage are also fed by this pest. Black hairy caterpillar Estigmina. Cutworms, as the name suggests, they cut the plant at the base, at the leaves, and they inflict damage. So these cutworms are found even in the panicle stages also. They thrive inside the panicles. And they are mostly nocturnal feeders. They become active during night flame. So almost 3 species are there. Mithmina separata. This is Mithmina separata. You can see the black color band on the side. This is Mithmina. Then you have Spodoptera litura. And you have yet another pest, that is Spodoptera frugiperida, regarding which I will deal in depth. This fall armyworm, as I was name suggests, in United States, that is in Northern Hemisphere, fall season. During the fall season, this pest appears. Hence the name fall armyworm. So this is a pest of North America. You can see it has entered into our country in the year 2018. So it severely defoliates the crop, and the early larva, that first to third instar larva, they scrape the leaves and inflict damage. Whereas the late larva, they enter into the world of the plant and they colonize there. Due to this pest attack, the plants will not die, but the stunting of the growth will be there. Photosynthetic area gets reduced. The panicles found will be very small. So around 10 to 13% grain yield is affected. Around 70 to 20% fodder yield is affected. But the main thing is this is a polyphagous pest. In case of maize, it causes severe damage. In case the next most favorable host after maize is sorghum. So as I was mentioning, this is a polyphagous pest having more than 100 hosts. In the year 2018, from Western Africa, Africa, Western and Central Africa, it entered into India, in Karnataka. It was first noticed in Chikbillapur. Thereafter, this pest increased and it increased its arena and it spread into Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, moved towards north, passing through West Bengal, through Arunachal Pradesh and all. It even entered into China by 2020, and by 2021, it made its way in Australia also. So this pest can fly long distances, and it is polyphagous in nature. Now, one of the strains of this pest is even attacking cotton and paddy also. So this is a very devastating pest. So it completes its life cycle normally under favorable conditions in 24 to 30 days. But in case of winter months, it takes around 40 days to complete its life cycle. So from egg to adult, it takes around 24 to 30 days. So how to recognize this pest? When you see the pest, when you see the forehead of the pest, you can find an inverted Y shape. So when you see this, you can simply narrow down that this is Spodoptera frugiperida. And in case of 10th abdominal segment, you can find 4 spots which are arranged in square pattern. You can see that in other abdominal segments, the spots are arranged in trapezoidal shape. Whereas in 11th abdominal segment, it is in square pattern. So the square pattern arrangement of 4 spots and is this inverted Y-shaped epicranial suture. These are the identification marks of this pest. So these are the male and female marks. So once the female lays eggs on the leaves are you can easily find the eggs in the severely infested plots on the leaf inside the word. From that, the caterpillars emerge and they come down from the leaf blade to other plants through silicon thread. So through wind, they get dispersed to surrounding plants. Wherever egg mass is there, the plant surrounding that you can expect severe damage. So the young larvae, as I told, scrape the leaves, leaving silvery membranous patches. Grown-up larvae feed inside the whorl. They are cannibalistic in nature, so in each whorl, you will find one larvae in soggy excreta. In Africa, the reported damage is up to 30 to 60%. In millets, 10 to 60% damage is there. But in my study, I have found that in sorghum, the grain damage is only up to 13 to 16%, and fodder damage up to 17 to 20%. Sorghum plant has extensive and excellent recovery mechanism, which I will be just briefing you after this. So these are the different damage symptoms in different millets. So this is the caterpillar feeding on the, this is a barnyard millet. This is the sorghum plant inflicted severely by fall armyworm. You can find the irregular cuts. This is the barnyard millet. You can see the silvery patches caused by scraping of the larva. Half late damage has been found at the root region also. The caterpillars, grown-up caterpillars, they bore into the stem region and cause wilting also at later stages. And you can see that in maize, it attacks the central portion and tassel also. So these are the different symptoms on pearl millet, maize, and this is the symptom in maize. It attacks the panicles also. Leaves, when it attacks, it causes silvery patches initially by young larvae. Grown-up larvae, they attack the central portion. They inflict severe cuts. So again, these are severely damaged plots by fall armyworm. So in 2018-19, we observed that out of all the millets, sorghum is the most susceptible, and it is the second most favorable host after maize. Among the millets, this is the most susceptible. Around 60% damage was noticed on it, foliar damage. Pearl millet around 41%, barnyard around 23%, and finger millet was least damaged. So what is the best stage to control this fall armyworm? So the larva completes its life cycle in 6 instars. So if you are able to control the pest within the first 10 days, that is up to 4th instar, you are safe. Once the larva crosses 5th instar, no amount of insecticides will be effective against it. So at this 5th and 6th instar, you will find the larva either in the whorl of the sorghum crop or inside the soil. The 1st and 3rd, up to 4th instar, you can find this larva on the leaf blade, scraping it. And in case of 4th instar, you can find in the whorl also. So a study has seen that 1st to 3rd instar, they feed only 2% of the foliage, whereas 4.7, 16.3, and 77.2% are fed by subsequent instars. Up to 4th instar, even 77%. 5th and 6th instar, they cause severe damage. So let us see the critical stage of the crop when sorghum is infested. So sorghum is infested from the seedling emergence up to booting stage. So if you are able to protect the crop up to 60 days, you are through. It has been seen that this larva is cryptic. It likes to, the grown-up larva, it likes to live in the world in a cryptic habitat. So whenever the booting starts, the panicle exertion starts, the pest deserts the sorghum crop. Either it will move to other crops like maize or younger crop of sorghum, or plants affected by shoot fly in the same field which are stunted. So you need to control this crop, this pest, for the first 60 days. From the seedling, early whorl, and late whorl. After late whorl, the damage is very less. But off late, some damage, isolated stages of damage have been found on panicles also. So we'll see the control measures later. So these are the other foliage feeders. This is the ash weevils. They inflict damage. They cause notching of the leaves. This is a pest of cotton as well as bendy, brinjal also. Grasshoppers are another foliage feeders. Almost 3 to 4 general species are available which feed on the leaf, cause loss in photosynthetic area. Incidentally, paddy leaf folder has also been found to attack most of the millets like pearl millet, ragi, and flea beetle is also found, which is causing inflicting damage to the leaf blade as well as the margin also. Sucking pests are one of the important pests after foliage pests, which are to be looked into. So they are mostly sap feeders. They suck the sap. The nymphs and the adults, they suck the sap. Perigrinus maydis, this is also called as corn hopper. So it is found on corn, maize, as well as some of the millets. So the nymphs and adults, they colonize the world, they suck the sap. So when they suck the sap, their sap has toxic substance. So phytotoxemia takes place, browning of the plants takes place. When a severe condition is there, the panicle exertion will not be there. In most severe condition, the whole plant dies off. So heavy infestation prevents the emergence of panicle. Apart from that, this is also known to be vector of stripe viruses in maize. Apart from that, aphids are also there. The sugarcane aphid, Melanophis sakari, is one of the major pests, sucking pests. Aphids, they attack the leaf. They survive under the leaf blade, and they thrive in the panicles also. And the severe conditions, the browning of the leaves and drying of the leaves is there. They are also very severe in dry conditions, and they also result in chlorosis, necrosis. Due to this, stunting of the crop will be there, and panicle exertion will be very poor. And panicle is also severely damaged by sap sucking. So apart from that, green aphids are also found on barnyard millet, bajra, jowar also. They are darkish color. They are bluish dark color. So they also suck the sap. Apart from that, in barnyard millet and ragi, you have plum aphid. This is Histononia saccharia. They are chocolate colored. They simply suck the sap, and due to that, the plants have stunted growth. And in case of these grains, the filling will be improper. And it is very difficult to harvest the crop also. In case of ragi, in light soils, sandy soils, you can see that these plants are attacked by aphids also. How do you find? You can find some of the ants roaming around the root region of the plant. So once that is there, you can simply remove the soil, you can find this aphids. So these are mostly confined to light soils and sandy soils. I was talking about earhead bug. Earhead bugs are the larvae and the nymphs of this bug. They suck the sap, they puncture the grains at the milky stage. Due to that, the grain filling will be improper. Puncturing of the grains takes place, and this also acts as a vector for spreading the grain mold disease from one panicle to another. So normally it takes around 20 to 25 days to complete life cycle. So whenever this is there in the rainy season, you can expect a spread of sooty mold, grain mold, in case of sorghum. So yet another important major pest of sorghum grains are sorghum midge. You can see this is the orange color fly. The fly lays around 30 to 35 eggs at the gloom of the developing flower. And once the larva emerges, it enters into the grain. It feeds in the ovule, developing ovule. Due to that, the ovule gets aborted. How do you recognize that? You simply take the filling grain, pinch it between two fingers, index finger and thumb. You'll find an orange color ooze. So once that ooze is there, you can simply narrow down that this crop is affected by midge. So improper grain filling will be there. You can find the pupae from the glooms, and larvae completes its life cycle in 9 to 11 days. And it also grows under diapause. Diapause is a condition when the pest enters into hibernation. And when favorable conditions are there during January, February, they again become active. So it completes its life cycle in 14 to 16 days. So whenever this attack is there, you won't find even a single grain on the panicle. This is a totally devastated panicle. This is a partially devastated panicle. This is a completely devastated field due to midge. Most of the breeders will feel that there is some problem with pollination. No, this is attack of mites. So another pest is sugarcane leafhopper. So this also attacks the fodder sorghum, fodder maize and bajra. And due to that severe feeding, there will be sooty mold on the leaves due to its sweet excreta. On that, this fungus capnodium grows. Due to this, the fodder is impalatable. This spider mite, whenever the temperatures are very high, these mites will colonize on the underside of the leaf, and simply they cross deep red or maroon color of the leaf foliage you can see. So occasionally they are found. Whenever they are found, the damage is very severe under dry conditions. So this is the severely affected leaf blade due to mite. You can see that the very fine webbing, white color webbing, underneath this, the mites thrive. So this is a severely devastated crop by mite. Stunting of this plant will be there, and its problem gets aggravated under drought conditions. So most of the management, sorghum is grown under, mostly sorghum and millets are grown under marginal fields with less inputs. So whatever technology is there, it has to come in variety. So whatever varieties are developed and released by our institute, they have certain level of resistance, then only they are released. So these are some of the varieties of pearl millet and finger millet. These are some of the varieties of sorghum resistant to shoot fly, stem borer. So they withstand the pest pressure and they give some decent. So not that you don't know, most of you know, these are the management methods. So we should keep the field as clean as possible by removing the stubbles and crop refuse from the previous crop. Deep ploughing is suggested so that the larvae and the developing pupae, they get exposed to birds and they get killed due to high temperature. It is suggested to go for synchronous planting. So if an area is taken, you should go for similar variety and you should sow. The complete sowing should be done within a window of 15 to 20 days. Then the pest will have single stage only. So it becomes very difficult to survive. So if the crop is asynchronous, you have all the stages of the crop, then you have all the stages so that the pest will develop. And as far as possible, try to rotate the sorghum or millet crops with some pulses like groundnut or grams or cotton or sunflower. Intercropping with sorghum and PGNP or cowpea or lab has shown that there is a reduction in damage of stem borer. And for sorghum shoot fly, we simply increase the seed rate and thin out the plant at 25 to 30 days to maintain the optimum population of around 150 to 1,80,000 so that you get a decent yield. And some of the trap crops like Napier grass, they can be used to attract the pest. These mechanical methods are there. You can deploy light traps. Pheromone traps are very effective for monitoring the pests like Helicoverpa and Faw. So whenever you find even one male attracted to the crop, you need to scout the field and take management measures. Fishmeal trap is very effective against shoot fly. It can be deployed at 12 per hectare. So the rotting fishmeal attracts the adult of shoot flies, which get trapped into the trap and they get killed due to insecticide in it. So as I was telling there, you can use resistant varieties. Incidentally, I must tell you that when Phalarmivum entered in 2018, there was severe devastation. But of late, the attack has come down. That is due to buildup of the natural enemies. Whenever a pest enters into new area, the natural enemy load will be very less. So once it colonizes and completes some 2 to 3 years, natural enemies also develop and they exercise control. Now you can see that the fair amount of natural enemies are there for Phalarmivum, exercising very good control. In case of chemical control, which should be the last mode of control measure, and since mostly millets are grown under organic condition, I don't think most of the crops are going for pesticide spray except for seed treat crop which is grown for seed purpose. So for getting a good plant stand, you can treat the seeds with thiamethoxam at 10 ml per liter for 1 kg of seed. So this gives very good control and it maintains a plant population. This is very effective up to 3 to 4 weeks. And incidentally, this also is effective against fall armyworm also. And for whenever stem borer attack is there, you can go for chlorantraniliprole granules at 0.4 g granules. Around 6 grams, 6 kgs can be applied per hectare, mixed with 10 kg of sand into the whorls. And whenever the crop is with 50% anthesis, when 50% flowering is there, you need to take management measures for midge. You can go for one spray of pipermethrin so that or if at all any midge population is there, it gets killed. Otherwise, if midge attack is there, you won't harvest even a single grain. Earheads and head caterpillars, these are occasional pests. This can be managed by using cypermethrin. As I was telling, cutworms and all, they can be managed with poison baits once they cross 16th hour. I will be showing in the subsequent slide. Of late, I was telling that in Mahendragarh area of North India, there was severe infestation of helicoverpa on webworm, on pearl millet. So such eventualities come. So under such conditions, you can go for management with carbaryl. And shoot bugs and aphids can be managed with neem seed kernel and sucking systemic insecticide like imidacloprids. And whenever mite attack is there, you can use propagate at 0.5 ml per liter. So these chemicals you should go for final stage when all the control measures fail, then only you should use. So we will deal a little bit elaborately on fall armyworm, since this is become a very famous pest. So deployment of pheromone traps around 8 to 12 per acre is suggested so that you can monitor the pest. Even if you find one male, you should need to take control measure. You should see the plot. You should count how many larvae are there, monitor it. And whenever damage is more than 10%, you need to take care of it. Initially with the spray of azadirachtin at 0.5 ml. Up to first to third instar larva, they get controlled by neem. And seed treatment with a mixture of thiamethoxam and cyanoterpenol is suggested at the rate of 4 to 6 grams ml per kg of seed. This is mostly relevant for millets, and it protects the crop up to 3 to 4 weeks. And this management measures, they have entered into CIBRC recommendations. And whenever chemical sprays have to be done, when the damage crosses 10%, you can go for either of these 3 chemicals, chlorantraniliprole, amamectin benzoate, or flubendamide. You should alternate this chemical one after another. Suppose you spray chlorantraniliprole, after 10 days you scout the field. If pest population is more than 10%, then only you go for subsequent spray. Not with chlorantraniliprole, but with amamectin benzoate. You should always rotate the chemical to avoid buildup of resistance. Care must be taken that always the spray should be directed towards the whorl because the larva thrives into the whorl, and it should be alternated with another insecticides 10 to 15 days, depending upon the severity and availability of the pest. Otherwise, you will be wasting the insecticide. I was telling about the bait. Whenever the larva of fall armyworm crosses 4th instar, the 5th and the 6th instar, they will not be able to be controlled by any insecticide sprays. So under those conditions, you should go for this management. Of late, we have found that in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, farmers are going for a mixture of 10 kg of sand along with 50 grams of lime. The mixture is applied into the whorl so that the larva gets lacerated and it gets killed by dehydration. And for poison baiting, it is suggested to take some 50 kgs of rice bran mixed with 7 kg of water. Similarly, separately, jaggery 4 kgs in 2 liters of water. Next day, these two should be mixed along with 2 liters of carbaryl. And this should be held in a gunny bag up to 48 hours. After 48 hours, the rice bran under the influence of fermenting jaggery, it will give musky odor. At this stage, you should dispense the bait in the field as well as the world. The larvae come out and they feed on the grain, feed on the dispensed bait, and they get killed. So this is a severely devastated field of Paralalimum. You can see the people dispensing the bait. Thank you. I am through my presentation and open for questions.